Live. Welcome everybody to Sisters United Hangout. Welcome everybody from all over the world. I'm Valerie Jampolsky, and we've got a lot other ladies on the panel. Others popping in. We got Gabrielle and Greta and Nikki, and we're gonna go quickly do introductions. Today's topic, we're doing part two. We're doing part two of discussing the bullying syndrome, and Nikki's going to dive more deep into that when we get over to her. I'm just going to quickly introduce myself and quickly go across the panel, introduce ourselves for those of you that maybe it's your first time, you don't know who any of us are. I'm a single mom. I got twin 5-year-old boys, and I do my usual naked kid alert. They're generally, when they're at home, they just don't like to keep their clothes on. What can I say? But I will keep them safe, and as much as I can, safe from the environment, so we don't have that here. And I'm very, I'm feeling so blessed to be a part of this community. I am here, I do what I do. I'm blessed to be able to be at home with my kids. I can actually do this and talk about things that really matter, which really move my life, and have that freedom to do that. And at any point, if you're watching this and you see there's like a button below to connect with us, please connect with us. Comment on the page. This is going to be interactive. Would really love, we want to hear, we're going to be checking in. We want to hear your comments, want to hear your thoughts, your stories, etc., what is going on with you. And I am going to pass it on over to Gabrielle. Quick introduction.
Hey, Gabrielle Morrison here, and yeah, I'm in Perth, Western Australia, and I'm just, I'm pretty cold here. I've actually got my hot water bottle keeping me warm. So it does get cold in Australia. Yeah, so yeah, I'm a mum too, and yeah, I feel blessed to be part of this Sisters United group, and yeah, I started this business last year, and loving being here and loving this new group so we can share more and, you know, help more people. So yeah, awesome. Hope you get some value from tonight or morning.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so glad you're here. What time is it right there in Perth? It's like,
yeah, it's 11 p.m. for us.
Yeah, it's late. I forgot. Yeah, I'm here. I'm in Los Angeles, and it's what is it here? I'm in Los Angeles, and it's a little after 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's like literally around the planet, which I just think is so cool. And I'm going to bring out Greta. Who we got there? Oh my goodness. Forrest.
Just unmuting myself. This is Forrest.
Hi, Forrest. Hi, Sweet Pea.
Hi.
Hi, Kitty.
Hi, yeah.
Hi.
And I've got Ethan with me too over here. And I've got 4 more outside my office right now. So I've got 6 kids, and I am a stay-at-home, work-at-home, homeschooling mom, and we live on Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada, and his favorite thing right now is ice. So that probably made you feel even more cold, Gabrielle, knowing that he's sitting here eating ice right now, but.
My son still does that now, and I just think, what are you doing?
Mine too. They're 5 and they love it. I don't know.
Those of you who were with us last week are looking forward to part 2 and just hearing these stories. And last week was, just a second. Last week was really, really healing and just amazing. There was some amazing breakthroughs and sort of just moments where just kind of made me realize how grateful I was to have the life that I live, and to be where I am today in my life, and to sort of, you know, hearing from other people sort of helps to jog our own memories of kind of, you know, brings back some difficult memories, but also makes you realize, you know, that that's no longer happening, and that you're in a better place now. So, or maybe you may be going through something right now that you can relate to, and there have been some resources given and stuff like that, and just to know that there's support out there is really important. So I'm happy that you're here with us today. Sorry if I'm all over the place.
That's okay.
I'm making muffins too, so.
We'll come back. We'll come back. We'll cycle back around.
No problem.
So Sheena, oh my goodness, Sheena, you made it on. Sheena, we're doing quick introductions right now, and then we're going to go back around the panel, and we'll be talking about our experiences and our thoughts and stuff. Whoop, Sheena. Oh, Sheena was gone. She's here. She'll be back. Okay. So I'm going to pass it on over to Nikki. Oh wait, no, wait, Sheena. Wait a minute, Sheena. You know what? Then, Sheena, when you've got sound, just pop out because I know your internet. Let me just see if you got the sound. Let's see if we got that working. Oh, okay, cool. We're doing quick introductions, so if you want to give a quick introduction of yourself, etc., and then we're going to be going around the panel with our thoughts and stuff. So while you're here, I want to grab it because I know your internet's cutting in and out.
Can you guys hear me?
Totally, can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hey guys, it's Sheena here. Let's have a quick introduction before it gets cut out. So I just can't wait for more stories. It's part 2, right, today?
Part 2, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, tell a little bit about yourself, where you are, where in the world are you?
I'm currently right now in Toronto, Canada. It's actually nice outside. It's pretty. The sun's coming out and finally getting some warm weather, so it's been pretty good.
Cool, cool, cool. And I'm so glad your internet, because I know your internet was cutting it out, that you're here. So very, very cool. All right, I'm going to pass it on over to Nikki. You are up.
Hey, how are you? Nice to see you all on the panel. So I'm Nikki Jones. I'm also in Perth, Australia, and like Gabrielle said, it's absolutely freezing tonight. So I'm actually all rugged up in bed at the moment. So it's being weather like this. Yeah, like Gab said, it's just after 11 p.m. here, so it's starting to get really quite cold. So yeah, so I guess I'll just jump straight into it. And so yeah, we're talking about the bully syndrome, and after last week's, obviously it had a great impact on people, and we had some, really good feedback from that, of people wanting to hear more and sharing their own stories and being able to relate to this topic. So yeah, we're going to dive into that again tonight, and I'll start off, I guess. So I do relate to this topic in a very deep way. I was teased relentlessly in primary school, and it basically went all the way up into high school for me. And it basically all started, as some of you on the panel may know, Gabrielle and Valerie, that I was born a little bit different. I'm a sensitive and an empath, and that kind of made me very different than other people, and I really wasn't aware of how different I was until I was in primary school, and people, and I started sharing stories about things that I was seeing or experiences that I had had. It got turned back on me, and I was teased quite heavily from that because I was different. And at that point, I really didn't realize that everyone wasn't the same as me. That the things that I was seeing, the things that I was hearing and interacting with, not everyone could do that. And so when I started talking about it in primary school, I got called a liar and just weird because of what the things that I was saying. So it taught me to shut up very quickly and to mind my own business, and I did. And I didn't really talk much about stuff for a long time. I was a very quiet child throughout primary school, but unfortunately that initial time when people did start teasing me, it continued, and it continued for different reasons, and it affected me in a great way. I became a very independent person very early on, and I spent a lot of time by myself, which in a way was a good thing because it helped me with my abilities, to fine-tune them and to sort of interact more with that side of myself and to have more of an understanding of that side of myself. But on the other hand, I didn't learn a lot of people skills until I was a little bit later on in school, because I didn't have that interaction at that early age. So that was fine. I was fine with being a loner. In the high school, unfortunately, one of the girls from my primary school went to the same high school as me. So I think for the first half of the year I was fine until I sort of settled down with the geeky girls. And the other girl that was from my primary school, she sort of became a part of the popular group. And I became, again, a target for teasing and, you know, being called weird and just not understood. But more than that, they started telling lies about me, telling people that I was a slut, when I was very far from it at that stage. But because I'd spent more time with boys by that time and got along better with boys, of course I was a slut. So that carried on for me, and to this day I can't stand being called that word because it just affects me a great deal. The bullying I went through in high school got to such a bad state, or in such a bad way, that I was threatened physically, but also because of the things that they were accusing me of, with being a slut, and they actually even said that I was pregnant at one point. And that for me caused me to get to a point of a great depression. And what it actually did for me was act as a trigger. And I want to talk about this is because it's quite important, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that's gone through this, but what it did for me was it triggered some stuff that happened to me when I was very little. And my parents knew that I was going through a lot of stuff in high school, so they had sent me to a psychologist to get help from that, thinking it was just bullying. But as I was going through that process, what actually happened is that I had a lot of memories of my childhood come through that my subconscious had blocked out. I think it was in year 10, came to the realization that I'd been sexually abused for quite a long time as a young girl. And so what that actually did for me was, through these girls teasing me to the extent, it triggered a pain point in me that was similar to the pain point that I had as a child. So I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, and I had to deal with that. And I dealt with that well into my teens and into my early 20s even. So, this is what, bullying can be. This is what teasing can do to people. It can not only affect them in the present time, but it can also be a trigger for other things that have happened in the person's life. And that's definitely what happened to me. So, I actually wouldn't take the experience back, because I did get a lot out of that experience, in the way that I knew not how to treat people. I knew how to treat people and how I would never treat people. It did bring up something in me that was horrible, that I would wish no one would go through, but it forced me to deal with it at a young age, rather than it maybe coming up when I was a bit older. So through this, the positive is that I got the help I needed when I was younger, and I was able to get through that post-traumatic stress and those issues of sexual abuse at an early age, rather than having to deal with it a lot later on in life. So, I need people out there to realise that when you are bullying someone, you have no idea what you're going to drag up inside of them. They may have an abusive household at home, which is, from their parents, from, other children in the neighbourhood. It could be anything. They could be being, harmed by their parents. There are many different things that could be happening within their home environment that you teasing them in any other environment can bring up. And this can happen in the workplace with workplace bullying as well. It can bring up issues that a person is dealing with at home. Whether if they're being bullied at home, they could have an abusive husband. So you need to realize your actions are going to have consequence on that person, and what I've learned also that those people that have been bullies, it does come back on them. It's kind of the law of the universe that if you do bully someone, or if you do something that causes a lot of person pain, you're going to get a lot of pain in your lifetime. Because I have looked up these girls that I was being bullied by, and they have been through some terrible things in their later life, and I do believe it's one of those things of cause and effects. So yeah, so I mean, it was a horrible experience to go through, and it did bring up some horrible things, but at the same time, it did clarify a lot of things, and it helped me get in touch with my spiritual side, and also develop a lot of my abilities a lot better, because I had time to myself to do so. And it also helped me deal with things from my childhood that needed to be dealt with, because if I didn't deal with them then, they were going to come up at some point in my life, because these things just don't stay dormant. So that's kind of my story, and I'm sort of at the point now where I really look at my life, and I just wouldn't take anything back. I wouldn't take back sexual abuse. I wouldn't take back the bullying, because it's made me the person I am today, and I feel that I'm a very strong, independent woman, and I stand up for those who are held down and need help in life. And I do believe that if I hadn't have been through these experiences, it wouldn't have made me the strong person that I am today, and the independent person that I see myself as today. And I think most importantly is I actually like myself. I like who I am. And I think if I hadn't have been through the bullying situation and with some of these girls that I did grow up, I could have ended up being quite a bitch. And that's not what I want. I want to be a sincere person. I want to be down to earth, and I want to be a caring person, and that's who I strive to be every day. So this experience for me, although it's been not good, it has actually put me in a place of advantage in the end. So yeah, so if I hope people can relate to that, and yeah, very personal story for mine, but it is what happened to me. And if anyone's out there that has been through that same experience, and it helps people out there to know that if you have been through that experience, you can definitely get out of that rut that you may be in, and you can definitely get to a better place, and you can learn from those experiences and become a much stronger person from that. Then this is all worth it.
So, Nikki, that is so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And you're talking about how you came out on the other side, and how you're viewing your life, and how you're viewing all of this in yourself. If you could give somebody some tips and guides of how you did that, how did you go from that place of internalizing the victim space into the space that you're in now, to somebody that might be going through that right now watching this?
Well, to be honest with you, I played the victim for a long time because I didn't know how to do anything else. I'd been victimized as a young child. I'd been victimized as in my pre-teens and my teens. So I only really knew how to be victimized, and to be a victim and to play the victim. And I did it very well. I'm very lucky that my parents saw that there was something definitely going on with me, and that they did send me to a psychologist, and that helped me a lot. It really did help me a lot. I got into personal development really quite early. My mother, actually the ladies in my family, we all have some sort of ability going on, so she helped me through a lot of it, and she helped me to see the gift in everything, basically, and that in life everything is a lesson. It took a little while for that to sink in, but I did get that, and it did start me on the path of personal development. I did quite a few workshops on how to heal oneself, and how to actually enhance my abilities even more, which helped me clarify things that were going on that were at the time really quite confusing to me. Let's see, what else?
That's That's really powerful. Seeing the gift in everything. I mean, right there. I mean, that's just such a powerful thing to have
Well, yeah,
awareness.
I was very lucky that I was taught that by my mother. I mean, she went through some similar things when she was a child, so she could sort of really relate to me, and she could sit me down and relate to me through her experiences, which helped me to feel that I wasn't alone. So I was very lucky on that point as well. I mean, I didn't really tell them anything until I was 19, but they still didn't push, they didn't intrude, they didn't force me to tell them what was going on until I was ready, and that helped me a lot as well. But really, you know, I can't say enough about personal development and how much that really does help a person with what they're going through. With me, I needed to know more about what was going on with me and my abilities, which my mother did help me, but she only had her own experiences to go through, and my grandmother's experiences to go through. So it was being able to connect with other people that were similar to me, and know that it's okay to be like that, and that I wasn't alone. I think that was one of the biggest things that did help me, is knowing that there were other people out there that were like me and that were similar to me, and then and learning. I think that it's not your fault was a big thing as well. Is being a victim and coming out of being the victim and playing the victim. A very big part of that is realizing that it's not your fault. I think when a lot of people play the victim, or it's because they blame themselves for the position that they've been in, or for the experience that they have gone through. And once you get to the point where you realize, well, no, it wasn't your fault, and maybe this is just something that was meant to happen in my lifetime so I could learn a great lesson from it, it becomes something that is quite dealable, and you're able to step out of that victim status very, very, or archetype very easily, and turn that around and become, from the victim, a wounded healer, actually, which is someone who then goes on to help other people who have been through similar situations. And that's exactly what I did, because I went into healing after that. I did Reiki, I did pranic healing, I started my own business in doing this, and I helped a great deal of people doing it, and by doing that, it helped me also. So
I love that. That's so powerful to shift to that place of feeling like that, of an awareness that you know that it wasn't meant to be. It was something that you chose to be. You called it the wounded healer, showing folks what is possible. That's so powerful. And it's something I'm sitting here thinking right now. You know, for a lot of people watching this, they may not have had in their childhood the fortune to have a mom that has the awareness to have that chat. But what we're doing right here, right now, anybody watching this, if you know someone maybe that's going through this too, to have them to be able to watch the replay of this, because just seeing it and hearing Nikki talk and hearing all of us talk our stories in and of itself can be incredibly powerful. So I'm so blessed that we are here doing this. So Nikki, are you good for now? Are we something? If something comes up to pop up, to pass it on over to Sheena. I see her internet's back up again, and I know she wanted to share last week. We didn't get a chance to pull her out. Is that good? Are you good for now to pass it on?
Yeah, I'll check out the comments box as well.
Yes, please. Okay, I'm going to pull up, and Sheena, you're up.
Hey everyone, it's been kind of a crazy morning, but you know, when there's a will, you find a way, right?
Yes.
And I mean, this is a really important topic. You know, we get bullied in different ways, like many different ways. I mean, coming from a traditional Asian family, it's you know, this is probably something that most Asian women face, is that, you know, they need to be like the perfect daughter. You know, they're bullied to go to school, get a job, make sure you know, you got to get married at a certain age, and if not, you're labeled as an old maid, or you know, things like that. And you know, when you get bullied to do these things, like it can really put pressure on women, right? I mean, I've heard stories where, you know, women do crazy things like commit suicide because they can't handle that pressure. And you know, maybe you watching this, you never realize a form of bullying. I mean, you know, when you have to keep on being the best, not being able to voice out your own opinions, it can be draining, it can be hard. And you know, I mean, I wasn't as bad as probably most women. I mean, I've seen it around, you know, probably through relatives. You know, they just they just take everything. You know, there's couples who've been married and they're cheating on them, yet they don't want to say anything because they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to, you know, throw away the life that they have now. They think if they don't if they don't if they don't make that noise, you know, everything will be fine and maybe it'll go away. But, you know, things like that will never go away if you don't do anything. And that's why it's so important to just, you know, just live the life that you want, be able to do, you know, what you feel is right. I mean, even even when I go see my grandma or talk to her, I mean, she still asks me the same question, you know, when are you getting married? It's like, you know, that's not something that's in my cards right now, maybe later on, but, you know, I used to, even back then, I used to think, man, something must be wrong with me if I'm not married yet because I see all my friends and my cousins, and yet there's me here wondering what's wrong with me. And, you know, sometimes that can lead to bullying ourselves, right? Giving, you know, beating ourselves up. Like, why aren't we doing this? Why are we, you know, why are we where we are today? Why am I still single? Why don't I have the perfect man? Why is my life like this? We all tend to focus on the negative, and that can, you know, hurt someone really bad. You know, you end up bullying ourselves, and that's the worst. We always say, you know, our own worst enemy is, you know, ourselves. So, you know, if there's anyone out there who's listening, you have to realize that, you know, you're more than enough. And so what if you're not married yet? So what if you're not the perfect daughter? So what if you want to live your own life? Nothing's wrong with that, right? I mean, we live life once, and it's you know, it can be a crazy ride, or it can be, you know, a boring life. It all depends on what you want to do. It's up to you to make that decision. I mean, you know, I was reading this article, and they're saying there's a lot of people out there who physically are alive, but yet inside they're dead because they just walk around aimlessly, you know, just doing the same thing over and over again, thinking that there's going to be a different result, right? It's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever heard of the show The Walking Dead, kind of like just zombies walking aimlessly. And that's not what we want to do, right? We're here because we want to inspire you to do something different. We want to help you get out of that situation. And maybe, you know, you've gone through the same thing. Maybe your family has bullied you to do some, to, you know, maybe go to school, maybe marry somebody. I mean, what's, you know, even today, or like arranged marriages are still, you know, are still present in our world, right? I mean, especially in Asian countries, so many women have to suffer and, you know, marry someone they don't like, and then we hear stories how they're being beaten up, they're being maltreated. I mean, that's not how we're supposed to live, and no woman deserves that. I mean, it's actually pretty sad, and we have to teach these women that, you know, you don't have to go through that. And, you know, if you want a better way, there is, you know, we're here. You know, we're here for you. We're here to help you out. We're here to find a different solution so you can get out of that situation. So, you know, that, I think, is something that most people don't realize, that, you know, so many women out there are hurting, being bullied to do certain things, being pressured to either be the perfect daughter, or, you know, just listen to everything that their parents tell them or what their relatives tell them, because they think it's not their fault because they're brought up that way and they're not aware of it, right? That's why it's great when we do personal development and we surround ourselves with different women that are like-minded, because then we see what's possible. You know, we can see that, oh, maybe, well, I don't want to marry this person. I want to be able to travel the world. Why do I have to, you know, limit myself to that, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, they always say freedom isn't cheap. Freedom's expensive. That's why so few people run after it, because, you know, you have to sacrifice a lot, and some people don't realize that, right? They think, oh, it's easy. It's not. But, I mean, it's worth it, right? I mean, look at everyone in this panel. You know, it wasn't easy for them to first time, or, you know, talk about their story. I mean, especially Nikki. I mean, a story like that, how it's not easy to share something like that and be, you know, especially to the world. I mean, it's on the internet forever. So, you know, I just commend all these women who try to do their best to fight for what they believe they deserve.
Yeah, Sheena, thank you. That is so powerful. Very, very, very powerful. And I know. I was taken aback just even thinking about women that are currently in that situation, or not even realizing. Some of them might not even realize. I'm just, you know, that they have financial options too, because a lot of them get stuck in there and they feel like they're stuck in that situation. That there are
yeah, and the worst part is, you know, some of them are are children, who get forced into these situations, and that breaks my heart. I mean, no child has to go through that ever.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And but I'm just so thankful that we have this community to reach out and bring awareness to a lot of this and what's possible. So, Greta hopped off. Vicky, do you see anything on the? Oh, you're muted. Can you unmute, hun? I can see you wanting to talk.
Yeah. Actually, why I have this opportunity, I'd really like to do something that's going to help me. Just give me 1 second. I want to take this opportunity to. These girls probably are not even watching, but I just want to let you, if by any chance these girls happen to be watching this, I just want to let them know that I forgive them for their actions and for the way that they treated me. Mm-hmm. I understand that what they were doing wasn't really personal, and from what I've learned about some of them, I know that they had really shitty home lives, and what they were doing was projecting that onto me, and I have a lot of forgiveness for these people, I really do. And so I want to say that I forgive you guys, and I forgive every one of you for all the actions that you did towards me. And not only that, but I want to say to my abusers that I forgive you too, because I understand that anyone who is an abuser most likely has been abused themselves. So, it's that thing of the abuser either becomes an abuser or they become an advocate for abusers. So I wholeheartedly forgive those that did wrong to me in that way and that who did sexually abuse me. And I truly do forgive you, because I do know that your lives were probably miserable, and even when you were doing what you were doing, from what I've learned, I know that it didn't satisfy you, and it did still cause you pain. So I just wanted to get that out. I felt that within myself. I've had a lot of forgiveness for these people in myself, but to say it in a public forum, one day maybe these girls might see this. Maybe the people that abused me, which 2 men that abused me, may see this and they will get a healing from that themselves, because I do. I wholeheartedly forgive those. So I just wanted to say that and get that out there. And by obviously in that act of forgiveness for others, it helps me move on as well. So those out there who have done wrong by me, but it's very healing for me as well. So yeah, so I just wanted to let that one out, Val. And also, while I'm on a roll, I just dragged out one of the books that actually is one of the first personal development books that I ever read that really helped me, and it's Sacred Contracts by Caroline Myss. Now, this book, for me, with bullying and a lot of things that have happened in my lifetime, helped me a lot. It goes into the contracts that we sort of make when we come down here. Before we're incarnated, it goes through archetypes, which I think is a very important part of personal development, learning about your shadow side, learning about your light side. And by reading this book, it really helped me to evolve to a new place of understanding and acceptance of my situation and my lot in life, I guess you could say. So if anyone out there is actually, dealing with any situation of bullying or even abuse, I would highly recommend this book. It saved my life. I mean, through the experiences that I had, I did try and kill myself. I tried to commit suicide at least 3 times. And in those instances, I thought I was in a place where it was definitely going to happen. There was no way that anything could happen that would stop it. And no one would find me. No one was supposed to come home, any of those sort of things. And with every incident that happened, for some reason, no one came home, or someone came across me to take me to the hospital at that point. So it's one of these things where, as hard as I tried after the third time or so, I sort of got, I'm not supposed to go right now. This is something that I'm supposed to live through, that I'm supposed to go through. And if that's the case, well, then I bloody better to learn something from it. So I went into that frame of mind of, this life is a schoolyard. The earth is a schoolyard, and we're meant to learn every day. We're meant to learn from everything that we go through. And if we do that, if we have that understanding, if we have that outlook on life, that everything that we go through is a lesson, and that nothing really is personal, then you will walk away with such valuable lessons and with such a profound outlook on life that your life will always have meaning, and you'll always have a perspective that's ever changing but ever bettering your life. So, just try and, it's hard to maybe get to that point in your life where you're actually able to think that way, but once you get into the practice of catching yourself in that situation, which I know me and you, Valerie, have talked about before, catching yourself in a situation where you sort of notice, okay, I'm going through a trial, I'm going through a bad experience, what can I learn from this? And if you catch yourself, and before you go downhill with that, and before you get depressed, or before you start having negative thoughts, you think about what can I get from this? What can I get that will be a valuable lesson for me, and that will give me better perspective for the future, so that I can have a better life. Because ultimately, everything that we go through is a lesson, so that we can live a better life.
That is so powerful, Nikki. And that process of just what you did just right now of that very verbal forgiveness, and that process of that, realizing that, having understanding for their lack of understanding of where they were at and what was happening and where they came from. And for me, because I know those of you that may not have caught part one, I was also severely bullied, and I attempted, my first suicide attempt, I was 10 years old. And, for me, part of that, this process, and it's an ongoing process, is, asking those kinds of questions, learning to be able to have the awareness and the intention to ask, what is the good that I can see in this moment? What is the good? What is the good in this? And from, I can see so clearly with you, Nikki, it's like, what you went through, you learn and, have such compassion, and how you can help others with what you went through. And the same thing for me. Each one of us, it's unique. It's asking that, and then it's a different, for me, it's coming into an even deeper level of awareness of, it's not just, it's kind of like, because of it, it's allowed me, same thing, go into personal development and dig deeper into realizing my true nature of who I really am. And I do forget, and I need to come back to it. And that we all are, that connectedness of oneness, of the essence of, of love, of who we all really are, the actual basis of who we really are. We forget, a lot of people forget, they get caught up, and we can do some horrible things to each other. But the reality of who we really are, and it's, for me, the gift is no matter even how bad it was, that I can still find that place of who I really am. And then the next step is, what gift can I give? Because I really believe each one of us, in terms of sacred contracts and what we're here for, it's not just to learn, but also to give and to express. And to express our own unique way of expressing the beauty, the love of the universe, of everything, of God, if you want to call it, if you want to call it, you want to call it love, whatever you want to call it. And going through that process to be able to do that and forgive ourselves even for things that we may have done in terms of self-bullying, or if anybody's watching this and you bullied someone else, to be able to forgive yourself for any of that, and be able to be that expression of hope and whatever. And for everybody, it's different. We're here talking. For some folks, it might be in art, it might be in music, it might be in your communication with people, in your way of communication. And each one of us communicates in a completely different way. And we each have our own unique gift, and that, for me, that's what it's been, is to realize that it all happened for me to remember who I really am, and for me to be able to share, my gift in my way of expressing joy in life and helping people to be able to see what, who they really are and what's possible. So that's just, and I such commend you so much, Nikki, for you, sharing your, your forgiveness and awareness with anybody that might be watching. And I'm going to jump into it myself too and do the same for anybody that may come across this, that have been a part of any of that in my life, and you all know who you are. Same thing. I forgive you as well, and that you. I know a lot of you have gone through a lot of, you came through a lot of stuff yourself, and you were just expressing out from your own pain of what was going on. You didn't know any better. You honestly didn't know any better, and wish only for all of you to have absolute healing and be able to give and have wonderful, happy lives and express and make a difference in the world for every single one of you. Anybody watching that, and for anybody else watching that may have been or realized that they were a bully or bullying themselves, to forgive yourself. So I'm going to pass it on over. Gabrielle, is there something that you want to share, add comment on anything that came up? Anybody said?
Wow, yeah, some pretty amazing, powerful healing journeys going on right now. Yeah, I'm just, sorry.
It's okay.
We've all got our stories, so to speak, and to hear you, Nikki, really powerful and so special, just what you've just done, and Valerie, I kind of lost connection for a bit, but I just came on towards the end there. But what you two have just done is really, really powerful, and I hope that there's gonna definitely be some people out there that they're gonna really get, that's really gonna help them on their journey. Sheena, like you were saying, we do all have our own sort of stories, different things that have happened to us in our lives. And what I wanted to share tonight was something that through my journey, when I was in primary school, and most things start, I was picked on because of my colour, and I started very young, feeling very different, and not fitting in, and really feeling that. Like I know I would scrub my skin to try and get rid of the colour, and I remember thinking, oh well, people go in the sun and they get a suntan to go brown. I was like, maybe if I go in the sun, I'll turn white. At such a young age, it was just horrible to go through that. And just, I think from 0 to 7 is such a powerful time in your life. You're really kind of learning who you are, and to have that already of feeling that you weren't the same as people was something really difficult to kind of carry through, which I then took on to different schools. I moved schools when I was 7 actually, and tried to kind of fit into that school. It was actually a bit better, but I think when you've already feel that you're different, I brought it with me, and always tried to fit in by trying to sort of please people, and always doing things to fit in. I know when I started secondary school, or not exactly when I started, but I was kind of wanting to be in the in crowd, and I was part of a group of girls that were bullying people, and I wanted so much to belong that I would be in that crowd, and I was kind of with them. And I look back, and I mean, I've looked back before this, and I've been through a lot of sort of healing, but I just kind of think, oh, it's just really wasn't a nice place to be. And you feel so bad, and I was just speaking to someone actually recently when we were deciding on this topic, and they've actually shot a video and sent that to the people that they were bullying, and I thought, well, this is something I really need to do. Not, just to, to apologize and just kind of let that go, and just, really kind of, I don't know how will I really explain all that? I don't know. Yeah, I think we all have our journeys, and we've all done things we don't really, we're not happy about, and we're not pleased about. Even in that time of school, when I was in that crowd, it all turned around again, and I was being bullied. I went to an all-girls school, so it was very bitchy, very cliquey. So one year you were the bully, the next year you were being bullied. So it's not like it just went round in circles. It was, yeah, not the best experience, and yeah, I was glad to be left of school. But I've kind of learned from that. Like, I've done so much personal development and so much kind of work on myself, because I felt so different. I've kind of grown to be very strong and very independent, because I've felt, oh, sorry. Oh, it's so hard to talk about these things, and not, I don't know, I'm just like feeling really bad now for all the things, all the things that I've put on someone, and I know, like, it came back to me pretty strong too, but it's just horrible when you talk about it, and that you have, who knows what was happening in their lives at that time. I could have, yeah, it's really nasty, actually.
Gabrielle, I just want to interrupt you there. To someone who was a bully, from someone who was a bully, who was bullied, I want to give you forgiveness for what you did, because I think you need to hear it, because I know you as a person, and I know who you are, and I know that is not in you at all anymore. You're one of the nicest people. I've had the pleasure to know you. I think I've even told you before, you've got a golden heart, which is very rare to find in a person. Actually, I've only ever seen it in you. So I want to give you forgiveness on behalf of these people that may have bullied you, but from someone that has been bullied, whether it makes a difference or not, but I forgive you for your actions and for being a bully. And Valerie as well, for the time that you went through when you went through that. And for that fact, for anyone else out there that has been a bully, I forgive all of you for your actions, because I know that these come from places of pain, and they've come from places of wanting to fit in, and from so many different areas. It's just, it's crazy. It's just, it's kind of, especially in high school, it's a situation where it's, be eaten or you are the predator type thing. So when you feel that you're left out, or you're the odd one out, and you get an opportunity to be the one that's, on the in, you tend to follow the crowd, which is, I guess, in a way what happened to you, Gabrielle. And, that's fine. I mean, that was your way out. That was your way to stop being bullied yourself. If I had had the same opportunity, I would have done the same thing. And I think a lot of people in your situation would have done as well. So I just wanted to give my forgiveness to you. And, I hope that gives you some comfort, because you deserve it, because you are honestly one of the nicest people I've ever met. And, you have a rare, beautiful heart. So, sorry, I didn't keep going.
Ditto. I couldn't say it any better. Ditto, yes.
Thank you so much. I think, like, when you go through things and decide who you really want to be, and who you really are, like, I know now I'm always, like, giving, and you have to go through these experiences to build the person that you're supposed to be. So, and all of us have done, all of this has been on that journey. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. That was very, very powerful. Nikki, can you take a look and see in the chat what we've got, anything going on in there?
Sure.
Comment.
Okay. Yeah. We've got a few people on at the moment. So Sonia Beverly Hilton, she actually wrote something after watching the first webinar that we've done, and she's just given us permission to read that story out as well. So I'm going to do that now. So Sonia says that she was bullied from such a young age, and I was teased too, and sometimes even playfully teasing can stay in your subconscious for many years after and affect you later in life. The worst part was I was bullied terribly in senior school, to the point where my jaw was nearly broken when I was beaten up by 3 girls after school, after tormenting me for years. We ended up moving to Germany because of it. This also played a lot into my adult life. Like Valerie, I went in and out of abusive relationships. I also took other ways out through drink and drugs, but there was so much pain inside. There is a lot more in my full personal story. If you like, I can share it on here. So as you can imagine, this hangout got me very emotional, hearing everyone's story and how they've overcome their bullying and their suffering. I think so many women go through this in their life. It's so sad to see, but it's nice now we are on a mission to connect and be there for each other. The most powerful thing is the breakthroughs and seeing those victims no longer being victims, learning self-love, getting themselves on the path of personal development, which is vital for raising self-confidence and consciousness. Yeah. This is why I practice mindfulness. Thank you, sisters. Love you, ladies. So thank you, Sonia, for sharing that.
Thank you, Sonia.
I mean, I can definitely. I actually went through a period myself where I used alcohol and drugs to cover my pain, so I can definitely relate to that. So let's have a look. Helen Lingard is also in the house. Hey, Helen. Helen writes, I know bullying is also always going on. As said, I've experienced bullying a number of times. I said it before, and it requires empowerment. When we feel good about ourselves, we will not feel the need to bully. When I was bullied as a young girl, I was given advice by a friend, personal advice, which it turned out she then shared that with the bullies, who would then embarrass me by revealing that I had done what I had done on her advice. Then later, as an adult, I was told to jump and ask how high by my HR manager relatively recently. Whilst managers looked on and said nothing, I could not believe it. I left that organisation, got paid out, and then immersed myself in personal development. So, there's a lot of stories of people that are able to relate with the bullying, whether it be a childhood matter or in a workplace. So I'm just so grateful that we get to discuss this with people and share our stories and share our healing so that we continue with other people. So we could probably Lucy is on again with us tonight. Hey, Lucy. Nikki's so right. The experiences make us who we are. I don't think I would change much either. Sonia writes again, our stories are so similar. I would really like to talk with you on Skype sometime. Powerful. Sonia, yep, of course. I would love to talk with you on that. I'd love to connect with you, and we could do some healing together. Have a chat about some things there, and hopefully we could get some clarity on both of our situations and connect there and have that healing done. That would be beautiful. We'd love to do that. I'll connect with you after the hangout. And we have Michelle in the house who's just saying, hey, lovely ladies and gents in the house. Blessings, joy and health, the comfy mum. Love you, Michelle. It's awesome to have you on with us. That's with the chat. So Yeah, I mean, we've got to the top of the hour pretty quickly, actually. So,
Yeah,
and we'd love to hear from Greta, but Greta's not on at the moment.
yeah, she popped off. Yeah. So I would love to end with some powerful positive affirmations if that's okay. I was just looking through. I was just some notes that I took on something that we might be able to just to take with us. Just a summary of things. I mean, I know what you were saying in asking in the question in the moment, what good is here that I cannot see? Asking the question, and if you look for it, you'll find it. Looking for the gift, like you said, Nikki, looking for that gift, and seeing what you can give in the moment, and really, I don't know. There's some affirmations that I've gotten a lot from Michael Bernard Beckwith, another great source that might help you to get back in tune with who you really are and separate from circumstance around you, because ultimately it's about coming into the reality of who you really are. And another great source is if you go to agapelive.com. There's a lot of very powerful things in the archives there. Love streaming archives. There's live and love streaming archives as well, and it's all free. So in terms of personal development stuff that's been also been very powerful for me. Everything, for me to be able to center myself if I go down that rabbit hole and bring myself back out of, because we have this ability to literally, I mean, physically in our brains, we have a frontal cortex which allows us to think independent of circumstance. We actually have the physical being, as a human being, we're built to be able to think independent of circumstance, which I think is such a beautiful thing of awareness of just how everything works in the entire universe, that we're made that way. So we have the ability, like Nikki's been doing, to look at what's going on and actually separate from it and go in and have the healing and be able to actually look at a situation, and instead of being in reflex reaction to it, be able to come forth with a place of healing and actually giving love to the situation, to ourselves and to anybody else that might be going through all that. So as I'm looking, flowing through my notes, I had it up and then I scrolled right past it. Is everybody okay with that if I come with a couple of just a few sentences, affirmations? Is that
Yeah, go for it. I mean, while you're looking for that, I just want to also mention that one of the side effects that I had from being bullying was being scared of relationships. I did sort of mention that before. I was sort of more on another rant, but I had so much distrust in people, not just females, but even in men. And I had a situation where I was in a perfect partnership, and I basically ran away from that because I was scared and I didn't know how to cope with someone being so nice to me and who actually was very, very good to me. And that was another side effect of being bullied, is because when you're treated badly, you only expect to be treated badly. And actually, before this gentleman, I had a string of relationships that were very bad relationships. And so when I was in a situation where I was in a very, very good relationship, I actually pushed that person away and ended that relationship because I was not used to being treated right. I was not used to being treated how I deserved to be treated. And so that, we ended that relationship, and I ended that relationship in a very bad way as well. It's just a lucky thing now that me and this gentleman happen to be really good friends still. So I've healed that wound. But it's just another way that bullying can affect you in such a long-term effect, is that you just lose trust in everyone, not just in the people that bully you, which in my case is women, but I lost trust in women. And just as you were saying, Valerie, with attracting relationships that are bad for you, and you stay in them because you're used to being treated bad. As soon as you're in a good relationship, it's very foreign. You don't know how to act, and therefore you push that person away. So if anyone's in a great relationship right now, and they're feeling a little bit confused because they're being treated so well, stay with it. You deserve it. Okay, don't give it up. So, I put that one in for you. Yeah.
You do deserve it, Nikki.
I mean, we get so used to being treated badly and being put down that when someone tries to raise us up, and even with friendships, when a friend is good to us, we tend to be suspicious of that behaviour because we're not used to that behaviour. And it's the same thing with relationships. So, I mean, I learned that lesson after that gentleman, but, you know, yeah, it's one of those things that you just never know how things are going to affect people. So, you know, if anyone out there is actually in a situation where they're, you know, strong-arming someone or they're bullying someone or in their workplace they happen to be manipulating their power over someone, just really take a look at yourself and have a look where it's coming from within yourself and how it could be affecting the other person. Because, you know, you just got no idea. You've got no idea how long those effects are going to last, and you've got no idea how it's going to affect you as well. So,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
that's powerful. And allow yourself to forgive yourself if you realize that, because going from a place of self-hatred or beating yourself up for something that you may have done is not going to help you to move forward and do positive actions. So once you have that awareness, it's really about really seeing who you really are in your own inner beauty, and from there, from that love, be able to transform it from there. Because hating on yourself is not going to solve it. It's not going to make it any better, because it causes a spiral, which then causes the reflex reaction. Because I know from being in pain, it's hard to it can be hard to stop the abuse, especially for self-abuse. It's kind of like you get upset at yourself for being upset at yourself. That's why I talk about when you notice you've done something, to be excited because you've separated from it and allow that vibration to lift. Because it can be a big spiral. It can be a big spiral, which just goes on and on. So we are at the top of the hour. We've been doing this. Is it okay if we close out with some quick affirmations? Is that okay?
Yeah, Valerie, I just wanted to kind of share about why we've brought this Sisters United together. It's because, you know, through one way or another, as we've grown up as women, we haven't had that connection with women, and, you know, we may have I think a lot of us went and had friends with guys because we couldn't have that relationship with women, and now we're all coming back to just say, look, we can be women and be friends and work together and heal each other. And I really hope we've started some healing for so many people out there today.
Yeah. Sheena, it looked like you might have been. Were you trying to say something and you were muted, unmuted? You're good?
Okay.
You're okay? I wasn't sure if you were trying to say something and you were muted out.
Just before you do that, I just want to read out one more comment from Michelle Hoyer. Michelle currently has an aunt who's going through a horrible situation at the moment. Michelle writes, please keep my aunt Teresa in your prayers for another solution and for her to have hope and know that the value of her life, for new doors, opportunities, and to open for her, and great joy to enter her world today. So just, you know, anyone out there, if we could just send some positive energy and positive thoughts to Michelle's auntie Teresa. She's she's going through a really bad situation, which is affecting Michelle also. She's facing some very serious feelings, and she's feeling that her only solution at the moment is to end her life. So I think it's really important that we send this lady some positive thoughts and some love, because I know me and Valerie have both been there, and we know how horrible of a place it used to be there. So love and light and blessings to you, Michelle, and to your Aunt Teresa. She will be my thoughts and prayers. and are sending angels her way as well to help her for solutions to come her way.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And from there, I'm gonna go into these affirmations. If you guys want to, I don't know if you want to say them out loud after I say them, and anybody that's watching this, I encourage you, to say the vibration of saying it can help. There's something about actually saying something. Every function and action of my being is whole and complete.
Every function and action of my being is whole and complete.
I can heal myself right now.
I can heal myself right now.
I don't know how, but I will.
I don't know how, but I will.
I don't know how, but I will.
That's an important part. And then fun noises.
Sorry, that was my phone.
I love it.
I'll take that as a sign.
I love that. Don't interrupt. Everything is working together for my good.
Everything is working
together
for my good.
Even if I can't see exactly how right now.
Even if I don't know exactly
how right now.
There's so much good waiting to happen through me.
There is so much good
waiting to happen for me.
And guess what? I'm allowing it.
And guess what?
And guess what?
It.
I'm allowing it.
And so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is.
I went the pagan version of that. I changed it up, sorry.
I love it.
Beautiful, thank you for that, Valerie.
Thank you. So, Nikki, you want to close this out for the week? And then,
sure. Yeah, sure. I'll close it out by thanking everyone for joining us tonight, and for those who do watch the replay. We love you guys commenting. This is interactive, and we want to hear what your thoughts are. We want to know what topics you'd like us to discuss. We want to know what you think of what we've said. This is as much for you guys as it is for us. We are doing this, as Gabrielle said before, is because we want a sisterhood of women. We want to bring back that circle of women that has been destroyed in recent times. I want to bring back the power of women being women together, and using that power for the good, for lifting each other up, and for helping each other, and helping each other in our businesses, and lifting us up in our lives. It's so powerful when it comes from other women, and I know my own experience hasn't been from women, it's been from men. And just with what's happened with me, within the last couple of months through being in this business that I'm in with my other sisters, and I truly do call my sisters, how much I have felt uplifted and how much I have felt loved, and that feeling of sisterhood, I feel entirely. And it's just such a wonderful feeling that I want everyone out there to be able to feel that, and I want everyone out there to be a part of that, and to have a sisterhood, and to feel that love of women helping each other. So on that note, I hope you can join us next week. And if you have any subjects, like I said before, if you have any topics that you would like us to discuss, let us know. We're up for anything. This is an open forum, and we want to discuss topics that are affecting you. We want to discuss topics that interest you. So yeah, get onto that chat thread and let us know your thoughts and feelings. And we'll leave it at that. And love and light to all. And we shall see you next week, next Thursday.
Connect with us below. See you all next week.